Hi, this is Christian Cantrell back with yet another mechanical keyboard review. This time I have the Realforce 87U silent keyboard. I actually bought this keyboard somewhat out of desperation. I usually work remotely, which means I spend a lot of time on the phone or on Skype or whatever. And my Cherry MX Brown and Cherry MX Blue key switches were just too loud. I would constantly have to mute my mic just to take a note or something. So I finally decided I should probably have at least one keyboard that was quiet enough to expose others to. Although this keyboard is typically referred to as a mechanical keyboard, it actually uses Topre switches, which are usually considered to be a hybrid between mechanical and rubber dome key switches, and that's because they have both springs and rubber domes. But what's interesting is that they're capacitive switches rather than contact, which means that no two parts actually have to make contact for the key press to register, which in turn means a very long life for the key switches. It also means that they are much more resistant to things like corrosion or issues associated with dirt or dust or spilled coffee or beer or whatever it is you drink while you work. The Topre key switches do produce a slight bump when you type, so they are nonlinear. I'd say they're probably closest to MX Browns in terms of feel, though they're still significantly different from Browns. In my opinion, they actually don't feel all that mechanical. Probably closer to rubber domes than mechanical, although they do have that mechanical bump. And they do still feel very good, and they still sound very good. So I'll just do a little bit of typing so you can get an idea of what they sound like. So nice and silent, but still they have a very good feel to them. These are the same key switches that are used in the venerable Happy Hacking keyboard, by the way, which is really the only mechanical enthusiast keyboard I haven't tried yet. I'll probably save that one for the next time a rich uncle dies, or the next time I find a winning lottery ticket in the laundry or something. This keyboard obsession is pretty costly, and this keyboard is no exception, so I'll get to the price shortly. Probably the most unique thing about this keyboard is the fact that it's variable weight, which means that the keys in the middle, which you hit with your stronger fingers, require more pressure than the keys on the outside of the keyboard that you hit with your weaker fingers, like your pinkies. The key weights vary from 35 grams for the 1, Q, A, and Z keys here, and all the keys to the right of the 9. To 45 grams in the middle of the keyboard, to 55 grams for the escape key. So Realforce actually claims that this variable weight keyboard has 3 different key weights, which is technically true, but keep in mind that the only key with 55 grams is the escape key. I actually like all the different weights, but this feature does not come without some challenges. For instance, accidental key presses. So if you're typing away and you kind of pause to collect your thoughts, you may find when you look back up again that you've typed a few thousand A's accidentally just by depressing the A key without realizing it, or depressing the semicolon key with your right hand without realizing it. Because remember, these are capacitive switches, which means that no two parts are actually having to make contact in order for the key press to register. So you can pretty easily just look up and see that you've accidentally typed a bunch of keys if you're not careful. Also, some people don't like that the meta keys are a different weight. They're all 45 grams as opposed to the 35 grams that are weighted for your weaker fingers. So even though you hit the meta keys with your pinkies, they're still the heavier weight, which is a little bit strange, especially if you're the type of person who likes to remap caps lock to control, which programmers will frequently do. The keyboard itself is nice and sturdy. I don't have any complaints at all in terms of build quality. It has rubber pads on the bottom, which make it feel fairly well rooted to the desk. Not quite as well rooted, I would say, as the Filco Magis Touch 2. In fact, I'd say the build quality is just a tad below the Filco, but it's still very good. There are no USB ports in the keyboard, but it does have one feature in terms of form factor that I really like, and that is that it has a configurable chord channel, which means that you can run the chord out of the left side, the right side, or the center. I'm not going to flip it up and show it to you because I have it well framed for the video, but you know, it's a simple concept to envision, and I think that that all keyboards should actually have that feature. This is an expensive keyboard. I believe it's currently going for about $310 from Elite Keyboards. And in my case, additional expense for the yellow keycaps because I made the mistake of getting the black on black version of the keycaps thinking I was a master typist. It turns out when I'm coding or entering a password with a bunch of symbols in it, I actually still need to look down occasionally, which I didn't realize until I bought this keyboard, until I realized how difficult it was to see. The yellow keycaps are obviously very easy to see, and they give it kind of a slick, unique look that I actually really like, so it all worked out in the end. Even though it did cost me some additional money, but I had already invested so much in the keyboard that I figured I might as well invest a little bit more in order to make using it a little more pleasant. So unless you're a good enough typist that you can type on a keyboard with completely non-printed keycaps, I would recommend getting either the white on black keycaps or the white version of the keyboard. It'll be much easier to type on. So that's about all there is to report on the Realforce 87U silent semi-mechanical keyboard with Topre switches. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and thanks for watching.